Without a doubt, you need to be doing YouTube. That's my first takeaway for it. YouTube is much slower. And if I were to show you my behind the scenes stats, you would see like 10, 50 views in the first year. But my first video has 100,000 hits. My very first one.
Pope, and I'm an Amazon expert.
What happened was I made a brand store video, how to make a brand store, and it just did incredibly well, but not initially. I actually had my cell phone number in that video. And I'm like, hey, if you need a brand store, call me, here's my cell. I've received more than 100 phone calls off that video. I can confidently tell you that YouTube built half my business. By and large, the first 3 years, the first 10 million in revenue came off of YouTube. So when you get on a call and you're trying to convince someone to hire you, the easiest way to do that is try before you buy. If they have already watched 2, 3, 10 of your videos before your sales call, when you get on the call, instead of you selling to them, they're going to be selling to you. And I experienced this firsthand. My conversion rate off YouTube clips in the first 3 years was twice as high. I then hired my father to do sales.
I am joined by my father, Dan Pope.
Hello.
He's our sales manager, and I'm going to turn it over to him for just a brief moment.
Hello, I'm Dan Pope, and I am Stephen Pope's father. In the meantime, I've been watching my son Stephen as he's gone through many, many different fields of experience.
And my father got on these calls, these same calls, and listened for 20 minutes where they're like talking about how cool it must be to be Stephen Pope's dad. And then they would sign. Do you see the sales difference between that and you presenting on these sales calls?
Yeah.
The YouTube clips are the presenting once they get on the call with you. So you're going to build all this content library, and over time, the algorithm will eventually reward you. And then the other thing is doing live Q&As. The first time you do a live Q&A, you're going to get like 2 views. Don't worry about it. Write your questions ahead of time. Hey, Joe Bob just asked this question. You just fake it. It's fine. And go through the motions and practice. And you'll see some of my older Q&As. And this cemented me as a leading expert in the space. Spend more time on thumbnails than anything else. So I was the first to make a video on this topic. The style of the way I did the video just resonated with people. It was short and it was pointed and it was first to market.
Before you have a video editor, you need a thumbnail artist. And that can triple your click-through rate, CTR. And that is really the name of the game. Like, why should I click on your video to begin with? Now, if we went through the old thumbnails on my channel, you'll see a huge genesis shift as we upgraded to a real designer, like building out thumbnails.
It just snowballed when I made daily content. I made playlists, wrote articles. It just got a lot of pickup. I historically have ranked #1 for terms like Amazon SEO. I'd be in the top 10 for Amazon PPC. When you first start out, I don't recommend using a lot of tech. I recommend you just answering your customer questions. So whenever you're looking for content, every question that a customer asks, shoot a video. No exception, 0 exception. What you're going to find is you're going to write these most, super niche videos. They're going to be so niche. You're like, why would anybody else care about this except this one customer? And then what will happen is that you'll get a prospect calling you and saying, that's the video and why I booked a call. And what you're going to realize is that if you just stick content to what your current customers are asking for, you will find other customers that look like the current customers. The content side will be the cheapest and the most scalable. Yes, YouTube's going to be slow. 100% on that. The Reddit is more of like the DM cold game, in my opinion. You need to think long term. Do you want to close a deal from a guy you talked back in January? Every month, go through your entire prospect list, figure out who you need to follow up with, nurture, and go back to the guy in January that said, hit me up in June, and you forgot to hit him up in June. Now it's October. Here's the advice. To use an American NFL football reference, you do not go to the Super Bowl without watching tape. Okay. You should have closed 1 more of those deals out of those 5, or you should be closing 30% to 25%. You need to figure out which one of those you could have done better on. And without going back and watching that tape or sending that tape to someone like me or another person that you trust, you will not know what you did wrong. The #1 problem I find is identifying the prospect. So on LinkedIn, an Amazon brand does not always self-identify. And even if they do, it's hard to get a hold of them. My suggestion is send connection requests with 0 text. Once you're connected, use a 1 or 2 sentence intro, max, no more than 2 sentences. Hey, I noticed XYZ about your Amazon listing. Are you doing A or are you doing B? Poke the bear and find out if you can pique their interest. If you can pique their interest, then you move into a book a call. That's the process that I've seen work best. I wouldn't spend 3 hours a day there. I would spend an hour a day on YouTube. If if at all possible. Every time a customer asks you a question, you shoot a video, no matter how monotonous it is, you will find your YouTube blow up. That's what happened to me. You could just be technical and boring in your videos and it will resonate. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm not saying you need to get a personality. I'm not saying you need to be entertaining. If you could, get a little inflection in the voice in the first 10 seconds. But the point I'm making is it's not important to be a personality for this to work. Introverts present very well. Extroverts engage better. Just embrace who you are and go through that.